and welcome to the IN2G show. My name is Luke White and I'm joined by...
Sun Shyne. I'm going to be joining him from now on in here.
Excellent. And we're going to start today by talking about our first story, which is about a woman by the name of Rachel Held Evans, who has recently written her first book. Now, this book is called A Year as a Biblical Womanhood in...
The Year of Biblical Womanhood.
There you go. The Year of Biblical Womanhood. And she basically... tries to spend a year living like a woman as the scriptures demand.
What does that involve?
Well, you see, this involved quite a few interesting things. Firstly, she started one Christmas by labeling all the presents to her husband as master. You know, that's the right thing
I don't
to do.
agree with that whatsoever.
Okay, moving on.
I'm a woman of the 21st century. I don't believe in that whatsoever.
Okay, well, he apparently... I
bet he was really happy.
No, actually, interestingly enough, she said that although most people might assume that the men would actually like it, he didn't actually like it. I think he's lying, but that's what she quotes, so I'm just passing on the information.
I think she's lying as well.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, she then went on to try and follow the instructions laid down in Leviticus 15, which basically tells a woman how she should behave and what she should do when she is on her monthly cycle.
You can say period.
Oh,
Luke. You can say period. Like, I don't
word.
think it's going to make people feel uncomfortable.
What about me? Okay.
So basically in Leviticus, what they said was that on the period, a woman was unclean for 12 days.
Correct.
So she had to go outside of the camp where she had her monthly bleeding. And then after that, she had to spend a further 5 or 7 days outside the camp just to make sure that anything she touched would not be unclean.
That's correct.
So she spent, on average, about 31 days in a month.
Yeah, well...
So take a what? She spent about a good half the month away from her husband.
Yes.
Did they no one have a problem with fidelity? That was my first inkling. Like, what is a man supposed to do if his wife is away for 2 weeks?
Stay clean, apparently, because anything she touched when she was on her monthly would be unclean. So, you know, if she cooked, then and he ate the food, he would then be poisoned from the inside, and it would come out, and he'd mutate into some monster.
The Hulk.
The Hulk.
The Green Hulk.
Exactly. So she did this experiment anyway, and to be honest, it's interesting the
feedback she got.
Yeah.
So how did she feel at the end of it? Did she feel like she was more fulfilled as a Christian woman, or did she just feel like it was a bunch of rubbish?
The vibe I got was that it was kind of a more tongue-in-cheek type of experiment, and I think she came already with the notion that this is foolish anyway, it's not possible.
But I just feel like it makes a massive joke of Christianity, because I just feel if you're going to kind of take things that are sometimes meant as a kind of a metaphor on how women should act and then just say, well, I'm going to do everything seriously. I think Christians have a hard enough time already trying to be taken seriously without someone trying to say that I'm going to call my husband master and I'm going to stay outside the camp and I'm going to cover my hair and I'm going to sit at the back of church. I think we have it hard enough in church already.
Well, preach it, sister. You know, personally, I do think that she raises an interesting and important issue, and that is, as you're saying, how do you actually take scripture, you know? How is it? What is its application, and how much of it?
Is everything supposed to be literal, or is some of it meant to be kind of metaphorical?
Exactly, and I think for that reason alone, I think the book is worth its weight in gold, as they say, because it raises this issue, it brings this issue to the forefront. But interestingly, a lot of evangelicals have denounced it as sacrilege, making a mockery of the Bible, and really said that she basically shouldn't have done it. And the other half have said, no, it's really good that she's done it, but you know, with all these things, there's ups and downs and ifs and buts. But, you know, for me personally, I think that the issue has been raised and brought to the surface. I think that's a good thing.
Okay.
It can only be a good thing.
Okay, so we're here with our second story. And this one's going to be a bit mad. But it's about this man in China who married a woman, a beautiful woman at that. Oh. They had a baby. And then he said the baby was actually too ugly to be his.
Okay.
He said she was too ugly, so he took her to court. No, first of all, he thought she was cheating because the baby was so ugly.
Right.
Took her to court, found out that she had spent $62,000 worth of money on cosmetic surgery. And the baby looked like her old self. And he married the new self. Ooh. He took her to court, sued her for damages, won, and then divorced her.
Ooh. Ooh.
Do you think that he was well within his rights to do this?
Ooh. So many things going on here. It's like an onion with layers that you can just peel back. Let's start with the first layer.
Yeah. What's the first layer?
She lied to him.
Does that
He
know?
married a liar. Okay? She was meant to be as she looked. And so she actually is a deceiver. She deceived him.
So that meant that he could divorce her.
Well, if you are marrying someone based on what you see, which we all do.
No. Marriage isn't just based on what you look like, because what happens when the looks would have faded anyway? Does that mean when he got older, he would have had the right to trade her in for a new one just because her looks had changed?
Many people would say yes. I am not one of those people, but many people would indeed say yes. But in this situation, the reality is he married a lie. Henceforth, the marriage is a lie. The baby is a lie, I tell you.
Well, most people who are married, do all people who are married marry telling the whole truth to their partner when they're married?
Yes.
When they say the vows?
Yes.
The entire truth?
Yes.
You actually believe that?
No. But the interesting thing is, though, that I do have friends. No, I know people who have friends who have had babies, and those babies did not turn out as they would have hoped. Good-looking people can have
ugly children.
Yes.
We said cosmetically challenged children.
Cosmetically challenged children, exactly. So, I mean, it is possible, but the fact that I actually have to commend him for actually saying, no, listen. He looked at the baby and, the baby came out and he looked at the baby and he said, this... This ain't right.
Okay.
This ain't right. Something's gone wrong.
Stop with your carnal mind.
All right.
As a Christian,
Yeah.
what would you say? Do you think it's okay? If we looked at it as a Christian, then that's saying that Jacob could have dumped Leah, stayed with Rachel. What happened to Judah? Judah was the one that all the blessings came through. Christ was called the Lion of Judah. So if he had dumped the ugly one, what then?
You raise a good point there, young scholar.
I think I do.
But the fact of the matter is, for me, she lied. The baby revealed the lie. The baby looked like her former self.
Talking of the baby, what about the baby in all of this? She's the one who's going to have to grow up. Like, digital media doesn't die.
True.
She's going to have to grow up and see that her dad took her mum to court because she was an ugly child.
And she will never lie to another man as long as she lives. And therein lies the moral of the story. Be sure your lies will find you out.
That's not the moral of the story. I'm not going to say what the moral of the story is, but if you can tell us what you think it should be, who do you feel sorry for? We know who he sides with. I don't side with the man. I think she deserved another chance. But if you have any comments, post them below. If you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel above. Look us up on Facebook. Look us up on Twitter. IN2G TV. You've been here with Sun Shyne and
Luke White. Thank you very much.